Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kings and queens, all that good stuff. Welcome to the Return to Black Broadway Podcast.
Yes, indeed. Your boy Re'Gideon Peoplez in the building.
Yes,
Man, A.J. Throwback, we here to bring the flavor that you want to savor.
That's right.
And beyond, you did.
That's right. Great to be here with y'all on this Tuesday evening. You know what I'm saying? Working through a little bit of technical difficulties. Appreciate everybody's patience and everything. This is episode numero uno, you know? So, man. How you doing this evening?
Man, I'm good, brother. I can't complain at all. You know, I'm just excited about everything that we've been doing, man. And like you said, and all the hashtags that I've been putting, the whole town has been lit since the summer hit. You know what I mean? All kind of great things happening around, you know, Return to Black Broadway and around this also being a Renaissance period, you know, historically.
Yes.
You know, and it's just a beautiful time. And I really believe that this is a pivotal moment in history and in the arts and in, you know, everything that we are tuning into to better ourselves as a people and as a region. That if we take advantage of it, we finna take off. Something serious.
That's right. Absolutely. Yes. And I definitely want to make sure that we show some love to those who've been tapped in since early on YouTube. Shout out to the homie Ramsey Brown, my
plan. Yes,
sir. Appreciate you for tapping in. Yes, indeed. Huge part of the part one video for those of y'all who have not seen the video yet, but we'll get into that momentarily. Shout out to my brother DJ Shane on the check-in. Appreciate you as always for the support. You know what I'm saying? And a brother that's a part of part one of the single, A Kev. You know what I'm saying? On the check-in on YouTube. Appreciate you for tuning in as well, good brother. You know what I mean? So, you know, the people are in here. You know what I'm saying? I talked to my man, Re'Gideon. He was also, I think he's going to be tapping in momentarily too on the tune.
Yeah, he's on here. He just texted me and said he was hopping on.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, he hit me up a little while ago as well. You know what I mean? So we definitely appreciate the love y'all showing already. Also, please make sure that y'all share the word, spread it, share this video, man. You know what I'm saying? Get the people in, especially those of y'all who y'all know would be interested in this conversation. You know what I'm saying? This is the opening conversation to really kind of sort of give y'all a glimpse into, you know, why we're doing what we're doing. As my man Re'Gideon Peoplez started it off with, you know what I mean, like the historical significance of Black Broadway. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of people who don't even understand why that's important for us here in the DMV. You know what I'm saying? That's a conversation in and of itself. So, you know, I mean, hey, let's first start off with, like, because this kind of sort of came from a conversation between you and I. But this is something that I know that has been given to you, has been signed to you specifically, and you and I have worked together on this as well. And there have been a lot of moving parts and a lot of players involved in this whole situation. But, you know, I want you to start off talking about this idea that you received, and really just how it all just kind of sort of came to be.
Well, brother, man, you hopped in the deep end off the break, huh?
Oh yeah. We
we
strong swimmers.
Hey, man. You know, by the way, side note, slightly unrelated comment, but that was actually quite profound and very poignant for you to say that, prophetic, because I don't know, just a fact that somebody not know about me. I'm actually a licensed lifeguard. Have been since I was 16.
How about that? See, we wasn't even trying. And it just, you know, the metaphors just dropped right into place. That's the vibe right there, brother.
So, let's hop in. So, you know, a lot of us for a while now in different circles, you know, of the arts, in different circles of social awareness, in different circles of political awareness, you know, all the different things that our town is known for and our region is known for, have been pondering the thought of the fact that we have been trendsetters and trailblazers of the culture in many different aspects for years. And unfortunately, because this is a political town, there's a lot goes into that, but we haven't always gotten our true representation, even while being taxed.
Mm-hmm.
Word to the actual license plates on the back of any ride you see sliding through DC.
That's right. That's right.
But even more significantly, as it relates to this return to Black Broadway is the nickname or colloquial name, if you want to be technical, about that represents the area known as U Street, Uptown DC. And it's significant because it's one of the main areas where our people, meaning people of color, Black folk, were able to gather and share their art and their talents, and also use it as a voice for the culture and for those who did not have a voice, to speak out against injustice, to speak out against different things that were going on in the world at the time and in the nation. Through all the different eras, all the way back to the 20s. During the Duke Ellington era and the Thelonious Monk era. I can go on naming people who are from our town,
Mm-hmm.
who put a stamp. Anybody, you can't throw the name Duke Ellington up in the air and don't nobody know who that is.
Right.
From our town. U Street was one of the main places where Duke Ellington and Monk, and peace and shout out also to Thelonious Monk's legacy. I went to high school with his sons and his grandson.
Wow. How about that?
So, and I actually named my son after him. My son's first name is Thelonious.
Okay.
Thelonious Monk is my favorite jazz pianist. Side note.
Yeah.
So, anyway, U Street, aka Black Broadway, is significant because we also know that during the era of the 20s, people that look like us wasn't allowed to perform and share their talent everywhere.
Right. Exactly.
So while, and it's nothing against other races, we just speaking truth about our history.
Mm-hmm.
So while other folks were able to perform at the Kennedy Center and at Warp Trap and all these other places, we were working our way into that, but we hadn't quite made it yet in that type of arena. So a lot of the clubs and the different theaters, especially theaters, mainly heavy culture for the theater arts, department. And then, of course, tied to that, all the different venues, Lincoln Theater, and just different various places along the whole U Street strip. Mm-hmm. U Street has always, for years, been packed with all kinds of different venues for the arts to express the voice of the people.
Yeah. And
clean on up through all the eras. You can go up a few ticks during my parents' era, during the 50s and 60s and 70s, with Donald Byrd and the Blackbirds, Marvin Gaye, Donny Hathaway, Roberta Flack, Richard Smallwood. I could just keep going. All of these people, all these major names had their stomping grounds on a lot of these venues that were on U Street.
Yeah.
And in the surrounding areas. And so it's significant, even all the way up into our era, the age group, the 30s and 40s and 50s, who embraced that moniker and then took it a step further with the hip hop and the R&B and the soul and the funk and the go-go that came from our generation. Again, U Street has been the mecca and the meeting place, no matter what side you were from, no matter you was in the go-go, whether you was in the jazz, whether you was in the funk, you was in the soul, if you was a hip-hop head, and then even for the younger generation beyond us, the trapping, it's all kind of venues that have accommodated all those styles, all the way down even to the fine arts. We've had street theater performances on U Street, what I'm saying, the kids dancing, singing, buckets outside. When they tried to shut our town live music scene, which, by the way, anybody don't know this, DC is a live music town. Yes. There ain't nobody out here who do live music like we do live music. Stamp. And so we've influenced the culture in fashion across the world. Because we've had our own clothing line since forever. Word to rugged wear, Hobo, Madness, DTP. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I could keep going.
Sir.
Star Beato, Shooters,
Mm-hmm.
Friends. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? DC and the DMV area at large has been known for, the way we wear our jeans, our shoes, our clothes, the way our hats and certain things match a specific look and vibe that comes from different sides of the culture that in this region. That if you rocking it, they know you that's where you from. And
Right.
other people have taken that and grabbed from that. Other cultures, other regions, even with the music, they stay, stealing from our sound and putting it in their beats and wonder
Mm-hmm.
why we're able to dance and party to it so hard. Even our dances, you know what I'm saying? I say this, and I say this for a long time, and I still stand on this. The A-Town Stomp is a glorified beat your feet.
Yes. Yes. Very much so.
No
Very much so.
disrespect to ATL, because I got homies in ATL, and I love ATL for what they doing, but it's a beat your feet. All right, we been doing that because we had bounce beats and roller time beats and all kind of stuff that we was doing to our style, the go-go funk, that was doing all of that. All the way down to just all kind of different things, even in different trends in theater. And speaking of theater, another person that's from here who made it big in theater and made it big in movie and film, Taraji P. Henson.
Yep.
From our town. I could just keep naming endless names.
Yeah.
But they never necessarily big up DC and the DMV area for the fact that these people are from here.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And that's the talent and the richness and the powerful message and voice and the drive and determination of this region.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's in a nutshell the biggest thing that's so significant about that. But in reference to what you asked me in terms of what compelled me to have the conversation with you about what I've been pondering and what all of us at different points have been fighting for and trying to ponder and been working towards in the grind of being artists and being educators and activists and so on and so forth, is I've been blessed to be able to travel in, work in, and rub elbows in and build relationships in all the different circles. The fine arts department, in the theater arts area,
Mm-hmm.
go-go funk bands. I've been in tons of them, been in pretty much every role in a go-go band as a musician and as an artist. R&B. I started off singing, like I told y'all when we did an interview for Bars on the Road for my personal brand.
Yeah.
MCing, rapping on the block, and then that transferred to doing other things later on in my career. But I was been blessed. All the different venues I've played, most of them, if not all of them. From the clubs on U Street all the way out to, in terms of the further reach of the DMV, out to clubs in Maryland and Virginia, and the Fillmore. You name it. So in that, I've had a window period and a life experience of being brought up in all of these different idioms.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been able to build relationships in these different places. And from that, and through the power of the Most High, and just Him blowing His super on our natural, I've been able to touch base with all these places and gather the people to return to the spot where we could all have common ground. Because everybody has different flavors, different preferences, different opinions about how music and art and having a voice should be displayed and demonstrated. But U Street, aka Black Broadway, is the one place where we had common ground.
Yeah.
Now, for some who might be from outside, most people from here know this. Some who are from outside of this region might not know this, is that the reason why it's a return is because when gentrification in different ways has hit the whole country, all around, nationwide. But when it hit us, especially because our town gets everything first, because it's the political place where all the decisions are made, it little bit by little bit started siphoning away and shutting down culture, soul, the venues that our parents and even all the way up to our generations, and then even some of the venues that we grew up having our stomping grounds in, getting shut down. And they put up tennis salons and upscale little bourgeoisie, events and clubs that don't service the soul and the art and the culture of the people who once were frequenting these places, and
Yeah.
being able to display their talent and being able to network and be able to connect and be able to push forward their brand and be able to also have a voice. Like when they tried, again, back to talking about when they tried to shut down go-go scene and the music scene, Mochella, Don't You DC, We Outside.
Yeah.
Just showing the strength and the power of our people. And a lot of times, unfortunately, because we, simultaneously have been, sideswiped with, drugs being pumped in the community and violence and all the different things. A lot of our venues got shut down, whether it's fights, shootouts, and then they started pushing people further out into Maryland, Virginia, while they're simultaneously buying up property and things. And so, shout out and word to Godzilla and the Up and Up movement, because they were one of the last few venues on U Street that held it down for a long time before gentrification completely shut down and wiped out the whole scene for a while. So now there's been other opportunities and doorways in this season of opening for a lot of us to get back in on U Street and start doing more events and things. And also simultaneously in this time of Renaissance, you got all the OGs and big homies and all of us as the new OGs coming out and the youngest coming together and building, a stronger relationship, building a better infrastructure. And then we got some of our big homies who are now in the executive positions, to help move some things around to put us in position as a culture,
Mm-hmm.
So it's a time where everybody and it's been like pandemonium, because I even outside of what I felt compelled to do, when I reached out to different people like Big Homie Priest and Nomad, like Stinky Dink, like Super Funk Regulator, CeeLo, all those people, all the big homies who helped stamp the culture before we even came in on it. They was like, man, ride with that. They giving me their full support. 20 Bello too, you know what I'm saying? On the boss business, side, of the culture. Like really was like, yeah, we backing you up 100%. Because they see the value of our people, and for so long our people amongst ourselves have not seen our own value, because we, as the tag say, have felt taxed without being represented fully.
Yeah.
And we always have to come out the woodwork. But the power of that is people recognize having a voice to say something that goes against the grain of the powers that be, to speak the truth, is actually a strength that I don't even think we recognize we as a region specifically have, because we're the place where the decisions are made.
Right.
So yeah, man, I know that kind of gave a wide range of different aspects of why. There's a deeper spiritual side to that. I'm a hold that, because I don't want to give it all away too much yet. But I dug into at least the historical and the artistic aspect and the socially conscious aspect of the strength of our people. So it's time for us to reunite. Now we all been outside. Priest the Nomad been doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? Cam Beard, Nino Brown, all Nino Green. I'm sorry. All the different, DJs and artists, Nonchalant. Shout out to Nonchalant, DJ Guru. Not too long ago, they just played our joint at the record pool mix. They put together a whole infrastructure to gather all the music and the artists to come together so they can create a playlist. The name of the game these days, for things to really catch, it's gotta hit somebody's playlist so it can keep being streamed over and over.
Right. Exactly.
In addition to the radio station DJ stuff is going on. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of things happening. A lot of events, a lot of art events. Also, gotta give a shout out to my sister queen from another mother, your Ashley Brown, who's doing a lot of big things around all of these aspects I'm speaking on, with the DC Music Summit.
Yep, and that's coming
also,
up.
Shout out, it's a big thing. Also, shout out to Jay Mills. You know what I'm saying? The real Jay Mills, who's also doing a lot of things on, horticultural culture and, botany around different aspects of how, you bring medicinal healing and, there's a lot of different people coming back out with clothing lines and stuff. You've seen a lot of clothing lines from the city popping up. You got one, that's jump. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to to you also. Shout out to the homie Uptown XO. He got a whole banging drink called corporate over culture. I'm sorry, culture over
corporate. Yeah. His line is fire. Yeah.
Fire. His line is retarded. Like what?
Yeah.
So man, it's just our time to come back out and show the world, stamped on our own terms, that we've been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're not waiting for y'all to put us on, because we ain't got to. I'm putting the groundwork. Now we gonna claim what's ours and bring the harvest in.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing of the awesome thing about Black Broadway, because we talked a lot about like the artistic aspect of it, but I also think that another important component to it is also, you touched on it too, but also the civil rights aspect of it, like the origins of the civil rights. Because you think about it, a lot of people don't know this, but Langston Hughes actually spent time living on U Street from 1924 to 1926. A lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? And his experience, and another thing about Black Broadway is people don't understand that it actually, a lot of what was happening here predates what happened with the Harlem Renaissance. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of what was happening here was kind of sort of like almost the blueprint of sorts for what was going to happen in all of these different areas of the country. You think about Tulsa, as much as people talk about Black Wall Street, like U Street was very much the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Before like you really kind of sort of heard about Black Wall Street, or right around the same time. You know what I mean? So it's like you had all of these great areas of the country where Black excellence was at play. But like you had other people like I think her name was Madame Lillian Avanti. She was the first Black international opera singer who spent a lot of time on U Street. Charles Hamilton Houston, who gets dubbed, and I think give me a second, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we don't lose my man Ray Peoples. But while I'm kind of sort of waiting for his technical things to get through, yes, Charles Hamilton Houston. A lot of people talk about Thurgood Marshall, but Charles Hamilton Houston was Thurgood Marshall's. He was his mentor, and he really kind of sort of helped to shape the direction that Thurgood Marshall went in. They consider him basically like the killer of Jim Crow. With all of the things that he and Thurgood Marshall did during their time laying down the law. Charles Hamilton Houston, I want to say he was a professor at Howard, or he spent a lot of time at Howard. And Howard, much like in the time that Ray Peoples was talking about, like in the 90s, where like our age group, 30s, 40s, 50s, a lot of people were really coming to the forefront. Just like Howard was central to that movement, you go all the way back to when Black Broadway was even coined. Pearl Bailey actually being the one to coin the phrase Black Broadway, because she spent a lot of time on Black Broadway. So, but like Howard was a huge amount of the reason why, like, not only for the arts, but also for educators, for scientists, for civil rights people. Like, when you think about all of the different facets of Black Broadway, all of the resurgences of Black Broadway, it was the arts, but it was all of the other facets as well. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, you look in one era where you have somebody like a Langston Hughes, and then you fast forward to the more recent era of U Street, and you think of a Ta-Nehisi Coates. You know what I'm saying? Like, history repeats itself. It just looks different. And the beauty of, you know, the whole thing of returning to Black Broadway, that I know my brother was trying to get to before his video cut out, is that is the essence of returning to that greatness and the all around greatness. You know what I'm saying? And I got my brother back. Let's switch the video around so our names line up, and boom, He's back. Yes. But what I was saying before, I guess your video cut out, was really like the all around aspect. It was the arts, it was education, it was science, it was civil rights. It was a whole full scale attack. You know what I mean? And I was saying how like really history repeats itself, because I mentioned Langston Hughes and him spending time on U Street and him giving credit to U Street, and just like him being amazed by like just what U Street had to offer in terms of the affluence that was there, in terms of the culture that was there, in terms of this one strip in DC being a huge influence on the national, what's the word I'm looking for? Not kind of sort of recognition, but really paying attention to the injustices going on, not only here, but just all across America, especially as it pertains to Black people in this country, African Americans in this country. You know,
if you notice, that keeps happening that way over and over again. Even recently, into the recent times with a lot of the things that are going on, like with even around the Black Lives Matter, even around different movements that have spun off of around the George Floyd and all the different things, like whole town went crazy.
Yep, absolutely.
Whole town went crazy. Beat them up.
Yeah. When you think about when Barack Obama got elected, where was everybody? They was on U Street.
U Street. U Street was lit for like a month, bro.
Right. Exactly. Because I mean, it has always been one of the major hubs for Black excellence, for really the meeting of the minds, the meeting of the spirits, you know what I mean? Like in so many different ways. So, I mean, like, that's why, like, I think this whole movement that really that really started with an idea that you were given. That's why I think it's so important, you know what I mean? And I know you said you wanted to get into the spiritual aspect of things. Before we do that, first and foremost, I want to make sure that we pull in a few comments from folks. Ramsey, he checked in again. He checked in earlier, but he checked in again, so I believe he's tapped in. DJ Shane, he tapped in earlier, tapped back in, so he's back as well. And then our main man Rod Ashawn on the check-in on YouTube as well, so he's officially in the building. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in with us. And I also think this might be a great time to give that part one. You know what I'm saying? For those, I mean, most of the people that are here have heard it. You know what I'm saying? But of course, we also have to think about the people on the replay and all of that good stuff. I think we've had a good conversation up to this point. I think it's a good time for a music break. And
I agree. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it.
Yes,
music
sir.
Break. For all the people who might not have heard it, we have a lead single that kind of culminating and pioneering the way, forging the way for the rest of what we're gonna bring to y'all. We got all kind of things. We're gonna be having dope interviews coming on. We're gonna have different people, different artists, different people who are connected to the movement, from different sides and angles. But we also have a song and a video that we did that literally was 30 artists strong.
Yes.
So we had to break it down to y'all in 3 acts in the spirit of Black Broadway and theater. We had to bring it to y'all in 3 different acts. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and run the R2BB, you know what I'm saying, lead single.
Yes, sir.
Part 1.
Yes, sir. So we're going to play that. Come right back, continue this conversation right here on the Return to Black Broadway Podcast.
One time.
Yes.
Victory is ours. All you gotta do is believe. Put on your full armor and live out your dreams. Keep your third eye open and be aware of the schemes. Pay attention to what you feel, cause what you see ain't always what it seems. 14 were twins, they thought I wouldn't make it, but little did they know they were sadly mistaken. Created in his image and I'm destined for greatness. I'm a savage with faith and I know they can't take it.
The wisdom costs diamonds, even them nice chains. Was whipped to the fame, man, they might call me a slave. Bring fruit with the passion, cause the mission ain't changed. But the truth that I do, the question it still remains. See me now on the high rise. As I look up to the sun, it's worth more than these hard times. Yeah, I get it. They see me on the top floor. All glory to God, no need for an award.
Southside, light giver, illuminating rays east of the river. Nakash Tonk native, born in December. Men in black flash, I still remember enter the battlefield, hold your shield, don't get caught slipping, land, women, skills, bodies and babies, what they sniffing, getting met with hollers and blades in their neck, cure the symptom, sickness they possess to be met with healing from their victims.
My hospital hour, aim the weapon at a coward, won't see me work no job unless it's for 99 an hour, keep the dog on, cause these fools love to get they frog on, money long, trying to call my phone, I cut the scale on, profit oscillation, no 1901 containment, ho, I'm ganja blazing and dressing like I'm headed to a banquet. I'ma click the terrace, baby. But Georgia Ave raised me. That's the same block that paid me. It's probably where my grave be.
Together like skin and bones, protection like roof to homes. I'm working for my peeps till I die, and I'm scattered bones in the mirror facing my clone. My son, he look like my own. Woo, God, touch him, he in the zone. Unifying the zones, together is my cologne. It's Reach the realest, highest game, baby, Glen Arden's zone. Unifying the zones, together is my cologne. It's Reach the realest, I got is Glen Arden's zone.
They wanna know if any city niggas slick on the mic, but that's like asking if identical twins gon' look alike. Does a clucker smoke a pipe? Does it get dark at night? Do the bangers I write? Are Eskimos used to the ice? Cause yeah, spit more lyrics than Nick spitting out kids. My goon squad in abundance like Nicki Minaj hips. Women in all colors, I switch them like they do wigs. I warned them in 06 and they still ain't rockin' with this.
Hey, 574's on, eyes wide closed. My high post to be Como toast. Nothing but Zaza flows over my iPhone. Street center birds, but that job got both. When Biggie became the ghost, I applied my folks. But took a different approach to supply my folks. Made my impression, but shit, why do I still post? On the block with Instagrams, like I ain't got ghosts. When I said that to myself, it was time to grow. My school flow, nigga, it's my 2-0. When it's time to remote, and see how you roll. Woo, what am I style folks? Nigga, y'all too froze.
Walk through the valley of death, I fear no evil. I got the spirit of God and plus my people. We got fighters, medicine men. We got our sisters and our brothers and our lovers in prison. And we gon' fight all through this opposition. Strategy and action, no more hope and wishing. I'ma pass it down when we go up like black fist. Transmuting energy, colors, alchemist.
With enough love in the city, I can get it. Too easy for them to take your heart, but still can never give it. Many times I'm shaking in my boot, you can't shake my spirit. Even when it's smoke on sight, they never take my vision. No, I ain't a private, I ain't with the nonsense. It's my calling and they ain't coming on my spot. I know the devil walking to and fro, trying to divide with souls, but the Bible told me. Death knocking, I ain't worried about no calls.
No religious, flipping system, my sisters. Joy gon' come in the morning. I just hope you don't miss it. Shut up the politicians. Live the life exquisite. While the natives ain't eating. Got a pop to piss in DC. Home with a go-go drunk. We be helping our brothers out, cause we are one. This is DC. Home with a go-go drunk. We be helping our brothers out, cause we are one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. That was part 1, act 1, R2BB. You know what I mean? Yeah, had a comment, simple little fire, rockets, if the comment will come up, from the homie Ramsey Brown. You know what I'm saying? Ramsey and Ryan, who we must thank greatly for being a huge part of making sure the visuals was looking good for that first part of the video. You know what I mean? So shout out to Collective Conscious Media. Shout out to U Street TV, Carlos. You know what I'm saying?
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know. It shows so much love and how we put all this thing together. And that's not even counting all the documentary footage that we got.
Right.
Y'all already know we gonna drop a documentary on y'all, chronicling and sharing all this stuff. By the time this is said and done, we got this single. First single we dropped is the part 1. After we dropped the 1, 2, and 3, we had a whole nother wave of things coming after that.
That's right.
And
That's
anybody is involved. Eh.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, you look at the people that we just had on that, that first part. I mean, you talking, and I'm trying to make sure I go through all of them because there was a lot just in that first part. You talking Miss Lori Love, A-Kev, Jason,
Sniper B.
Yeah,
Then you got Reach the Realist.
Mm-hmm.
Homie from Glenard.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you got after that, I believe it was Uptown XO.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Tamika Love Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the homie Shine on Me from Morris Road on South Side.
Yeah.
You got Deb Duff. Shout out to SC3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can't forget Say 2 is in there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Say 2. I'm sorry. That's why I paused with somebody in the middle I was thinking about. Yeah. So Say 2 actually comes before Uptown XO. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. It's so many people that it's hard to.
There's so much banging talent and so much power going on this journey. You gotta keep up. But yeah, shout out to the homie Say 2 and the Relentless band, Relentless Kings. They actually got an album coming out, you know what I'm saying, as well. Word to Go-Go Hip Hop Flip. Relentless is actually a go-go funk, band with a hip hop twist. The rappers and all of that. And I heard a little snippet of what they got cooking, man. I can't wait for y'all to hear that. That thing right there is just ridiculous. Yeah, shout out to Say 2, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, shout out to everybody. Uptown XO, Say 2, A-Kev, Lori Love. Man, like, it's really like this whole thing is stacked, man. And I was just ecstatic at the response I got from everybody when I reached out and said, hey, y'all, we gonna do this thing. And they was like, oh, for real? That's what we doing? Pat. And jumped right in.
Yeah.
Jumped right in.
Absolutely. Yeah, and talk a little bit about that, because I know we wanted to come to the spiritual aspect, but while we're right there, in terms of the people that you brought in on this, you know what I mean? Like, talk about that aspect, like, because you said something real powerful when we was talking offline about something God told you when it came to how you pick the people you pick. You know what I'm saying? So dig a little bit into that and I mean, you ain't got to go person for person, but you know what I'm saying? Just like the different aspect of what everybody brought to the table.
So the significance of that is just literally each person that kicked off this whole thing, as it was beginning to, take flight and move. Every single person was chosen because the Most High highlighted to me that they had a certain niche and gift and talent that would release a certain type of energy into the atmosphere when they did their thing. Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, it wasn't per se planned this way, but it was planned this way. Meaning, Lori Love starting off the whole thing. The significance of that, I would say I will highlight her. Shout out to Lori Love if you watching. You know what I mean? She basically has this embodying, she has this mother type spirit about her. Y'all, everybody know Lori Love personally. She's everybody's mama, grandma, cousin, sister, auntie. She gonna bring you by to bake some cookies and tell you a story about what happened 2 weeks ago and why it's significant to why she feel like it's, tune into those details. Very unassumingly like that. You know how that mama giving you the wisdom, but you don't necessarily know that she's giving you the wisdom. You just
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's Lori Love in a nutshell. So I think it's very significant because when we started putting things together in the studio to get ready to see who was going to go first, because I put everybody together and I kind of had a feeling in my spirit that I wanted to try to, later on in editing, probably put Lori Love first. Mm-hmm. But it worked out because when we were at Judah, shout out to my homie who helped me make it happen on the engineering tip. You know what I'm saying? My brother from another mother, the big homie, Judah.
Yes,
Judah
sir.
Beats. You know what I mean? At the Science Lab. And world-renowned producer and engineer. So, he, you know, when we got in the studio, I was like, all right, y'all, because I wanted them to decide based on how the vibe was going, because I wanted it to be organic, to see how it was going to pan out. And Lori was like, I got mine, I'm ready. I was like, all right, cool, let's start with Lori.
Yeah.
And there it was. Because the reason why that's significant is because Lori Love's mothering spirit set a tone for the whole song, because what it was doing is opening the gateway of love to say to all the people who feel disenfranchised, who feel taxed without representation, who feel the love from the city is gone because the soul been snatched out by gentrification and politics. Say, hey, listen, don't worry about that. Come in by my house right quick. We will show you. We got something for you. We about to go ahead and get it cracking again, baby. Y'all ready? That's Lori Love.
Yeah.
So boom. And then, you know, the youngin' A-Kev, that's my man, that's my little bro. You know what I'm saying? Baby boy, he has an old soul. You know what I mean? And so he's a voice for the young people because he's only in his early 20s. But he has a mind frame that comes from our era.
Yeah.
So he has the youth and his legs still strong and he's still rolling, but he got the mind frame from our era. So then he's like, he has a draw to the people in his age group and younger. So he brings them to the table so that we can all have a conversation among the generation.
Right.
You know, just to give an example, and you know, like I said, I don't want to spend too much time going through each person, but everybody was selected because the Spirit of God specifically told me all these things about these people beyond even what I knew about them personally already. He highlighted to me in my vision everybody's attributes and qualities, kind of like how when you putting together a dream team. And you
I
know,
was literally thinking sports.
yeah, different members have, you know, Jordan had a certain thing, Pippen had a certain thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we can go through all the eras, whichever combination of dream team you want to name, that we knew was just lighting it on fire.
Yeah.
Everybody has a special, unique gift, talent, anointing, and purpose that they can contribute to the whole that makes it what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what Black Broadway was. And that's
Yeah.
what it is. And that's what we finna make it again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you just highlighted how God spoke to you, you know what I'm saying, and highlighted all of these different attributes and was very specific with how he gave you the vision. So like the whole thing about the deeper spiritual aspect to Return to Black Broadway, digging at that a little bit.
All right, y'all. So for anybody, you know what I'm saying, who might not know, right now I think most people know that I try to stay very tapped in and in tune with, you know, Holy Spirit and with God and with, you know, just the power of what, you know, comes from the source of the creator, you know, in the way that I move and the things that I do, and my decisions and how I even do my art and my activist work and my ministry. And so I'm one of those people who gets things often in visions and dreams. That's how God speaks to me a lot. Not the only way, but very heavily in visions and dreams. And so I had a dream one night, and it was like we were all on U Street, and it was people as far as the eye could see, swinging from one side to the other, like literally no party. It was empty. Like almost if you didn't know what the scenery was, you wouldn't know it was U Street, but that's how many people were covering the whole area.
Wow.
To the point where you almost couldn't even see signs, so you had to be aware. But there was then little landmarks that would pop up that, you know, because in my know, I know what you see. It was significant and recognizable to me in the dream. But then as I saw all of this, the most I said, look up. So I looked up in the sky and it was a big, bright letters and banners to gather the people. So that. And so when I woke up, I was like, just meditating, praying, and just in my place of devotion and communion with God. And I said, so what does that exactly mean? Like, I mean, that's a broad statement. Like, where we going with that?
Yeah.
He said exactly what I said. Gather the people is time. He said this is the time where he himself said that in addition to the fact that historically and artistically and politically and socially there's a renaissance that we are now here in the planet, there's also a spiritual awakening about to happen. Where people are going to become more aware of how to treat their fellow man. People are going to become more aware of, even in the midst of all the chaos and darkness that goes on in the world and the challenges that we all face from day to day. In our region specifically, the significance is that because this is the place where decisions are made. This is where people mold and shape their perception of what is for the rest of the world and what should be or what could be.
Yeah.
And so it was about gathering everybody to have us all tune in and tap back into why we did it in the first place. We love it. And we love our town. And we love our people. And we love the fact that even though this is a place that is very highly politically charged, and sometimes, per our what's on our tags, because for those who know who are from here, the tags used to say celebrate and discover.
Right. Yep.
And this one day we was like, celebrate and discover what? We already know what's here.
Right.
We just don't get credit for the fact that it's already here.
Exactly.
So it's taxation without representation for a reason. So in other words, now watch this. The other thing that I found significant when I inquired more about this dream and how to go about things is God said, just every name that I put in your spirit and your knowing, call the people. I said, well, how are we going to get all this? I said, all of us been busy. We all got families now. We older now. We got stuff going on. It's very difficult to try to get that many people. Like the whole town now, he said, now you stepping in my lane. He said, just do what I told you. Call the people.
Yeah.
Gather them up. I got it from there. And that's exactly what happened. Every phone call I made, folks was like, oh, for real? What? That? Then, in the spirit of God multiplying super on our natural as he so powerfully does, then I started getting phone calls from people that I didn't even call.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. I said, I told you. I got it. Just start with what I told you to start with. That's a message to somebody, by the way. You ain't got to have the whole puzzle. Just start with what God gave you.
Right. Exactly.
Start with what he gave you. Because it was a small task of him asking me to call the people he put on my spirit. You being one of them, Lori being one of them, Jason being one of them, Sniper, like all the original people that were in the studio that first session we had at Judas, those were the first wave of people that God told me to call.
Yeah.
Now it was a second wave he told me to call as well, but then there was a third wave that was an overflow of people I hadn't even tapped in with yet. Not because they weren't in mind, but just more so I was dealing with the pieces as he was giving it to me. Because the thing is, about following God is that you don't always get all the whole puzzle at the beginning because that doesn't require any faith.
Right.
If you got the whole pieces and you're fully in control of everything that's going to happen at every moment and every step, even our greatest project management plans come to nothing without God's stamp on.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, that in a nutshell, that's really how it started out, brother. And then, as I was pondering that, then the Holy Spirit told me to reach out to you first. Hence the reason why you and I are hosting this show together.
That's right. That's right. Praise God.
You know what I mean? Because one of your gifts and talents is what we doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
God said you ain't got to reinvent the wheel. Partner with your brother, and then y'all put your ideas together, and then go forward with everything I tell you to do. And then it's like things just been falling into place. And then even some of the people that God put in my spirit that I wanted to get in touch with that I couldn't find a number, because it was like 20 phones ago. Like he was like, I kind of started getting a little uneasy and kind of discouraged. He said, "No, now you're in my lane again." He said, "Listen, there's going to be some people that's going to reach out to you and tell you that they're having events and things that's going to be happening. And when they have the events, I want you to show up there. Everybody you need, they're all going to be there." And literally, speaking of going back to Return to Black Broadway, the very first event, a lot of us were in the building that night. Went Up and Up and Godzilla and that whole movement, they had a return, you know what I'm saying, show, that they did a couple months ago. And everybody who was anybody was there. Meaning everybody in the scene, from the culture, from all sides, we just talked about their name. They was all in the building. Up and Up.
Yeah.
Shout out again to Up and Up movement, Up and Up microphone. It's the Up and Up clothing line, by the way. Truth and them got their own clothing line, in case y'all didn't know. Up and Up clothing line of fashion. Again, trendsetters and trailblazers of fashion and the culture.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Bear with me 1 second, my brother. I got to get some water. I'm sorry about that. I'll be right back.
No problem. Yeah, I just thank everybody for tuning in, and just rocking with us. Trying to do something really great here for the movement and for the people. You want to be able to, really grab hold of this opportunity. And I was saying the significant thing about this year, this is the 49th year of the anniversary of the inception of hip hop.
That's right.
Which also means that we're currently rolling into the 50th year. So if you tie that into what we were talking about as far as the spiritual aspect, in the passages of scriptures, it talks about how the year 50 and the number 50 represents Jubilee. Now, in the Hebrew culture, historically and, scripturally, biblically speaking, what that represented was all debt canceled, all grievances forgiven. All things that were bound up or locked up, or if the nation was in famine, that was when abundance came.
Yeah.
Overflowing resources. You follow where I'm going with this? So the Most High specifically told me that he intentionally allowed our region to get shut down because he needed us to tune into the value of him being the source. One, to tune into the value of the power that he gave us through him and through what he placed in us to come together and be a unified front. Because as you know, as well as I, unfortunately, because of a lot of the street violence activity that we experience, and because of the political climate, there's been a lot of division at times amongst the different sides, different parts of the culture.
Yeah.
The only place that was the common ground most of the time was U Street. No matter what hood you was from, no matter what side you was from, no matter what part of the culture you got your stomping grounds in. And then you had split offs in the separate places. And so then every now and then you get a sprinkle of people who get on as far as culture and the industry and then, making headway and opening doors. But some folk didn't reach back.
Yeah.
Some folk did, but then the people who grabbed a hold of it for a moment didn't take advantage of the opportunity.
Right.
And then some folk got in the position, but because they so used to being disenfranchised and taxed without representation, they didn't know how to move accordingly because of how they needed to conduct themselves while doing business, and then lost opportunity. And so the significance of the 50 coming up here as we're rolling in this time is the Renaissance period also represents a renewal or reviving of something that was already established from the old, but with an awakening and a fresh perspective on what is new that's evolving. So the doorway is wide open for us to not only stamp what we already have done, to show how we're evolving and how we have evolved.
That's right.
And that we better and stronger than ever. And we back at it like we never left. We did.
That's right. Absolutely. Our man Ramsey said, real simple. The comment comes up. Come on, comment.
One handshake away.
One handshake away. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
That's right.
Yes,
handshake is an opportunity. You know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely appreciate that comment, brother. So I think we wanted to give them some teasers. Not give them too much, but just give them a little taste of what's to come. Because the thing is, as my brother said, hold on, I gotta remember my directions here. As my brother said, you know what I mean? Yes, as my brother said, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot more to come. There's a lot of things that are going to be in the making because this is a project. This is a movement. This is a whole lot going on. It's not just one song. It's not even just one podcast based on one song. You know what I'm saying? Like this is something to really tell a story and to unify the area, you know, as my brother said. So what we're going to do, I think this is a good time to give them a little taste of part 2. Just a little smidgen.
I agree. Let's do that, brother. Let's do that indeed. All y'all people. Little snap. Part 2. We're going to get y'all the whole thing.
Right.
But one time. Re'Gideon Peoplez A.J. Throwback in the building. R2BB movement. Lean with it, rock with it, bounce with it, chop with it. You hear me?
Yes, sir. Little taste for y'all real quick.
For politics, the parliament tricks, trying to carve us out a new lane. Priest of no man, stay up in that pocket like loose change. New age dudes thinking it's sweet. Red Kool-Aid, they think they power Luke Cage. We bring it to they toupee. DC slam, we know for that bop, the book back. For 2 packs and Newports and wings, and push a roof back. We been a music city, hip-hop, jazz, a go-go. You better respect it, talking shit to us, it's a no-no.
40 years, God's been good, and 40 more, I get the same witness. I'm respecting this person, call it favoritism. He's directing my focus like his laser vision. I trade nothing for Christ, and that's who gang with it. Prayer's my regimen, yeah, that's how I train with him. A false prophet should know that I ain't playing with him. But y'all be spitting them lies and add his name in it. If there's a church in the wild, then we ain't tame with it.
Like I said, just a little taste. That's it. That's all you get. Let's sample. You know what I mean? Like when you go in the mall, you go past the Cajun Grill, they give you a little taste just to bring you in. You know what I mean? Like if you like it, like hey, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I do want this Bourbon Street chicken real quick. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So, yes.
Man. Also, shout out to the big homie Priest of No Man. I actually just talked with him earlier today. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna give away exactly how it's gonna pan out, but we got a little something special planned out that's gonna lead us into the video part of Act 2.
Yes, indeed.
Ramsey said Costco.
He said Costco.
Yeah. All that.
Yes, sir. So,
also,
man.
Shout out, since we did play a part of his verse, shout out to the brother Rush Shanks from B-More. That second dude that was away real quick a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the brother, one of my homies that's real heavy on the urban outreach ministry tips. And like, you know, he's originally from Cherry Hill in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about Cherry Hill, but Cherry Hill is dead. You know what I mean? Like that area is raw. So I hats off to the brother.
Yeah.
That's a tough area to be doing outreach in.
Yes.
It goes down, and be more careful if y'all ain't know.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean?
Rush Shanks, shout out to the brother.
Absolutely. So I think we kind of sort of covered a good amount of ground in terms of, why we doing this thing, the movement itself. And then I think like really with the podcast, what we really want to achieve is, of course, you seeing us today or tonight and getting the story from us or getting the groundwork. But then as the weeks come along, we're going to be having the artists themselves be a part of this narrative, tell their part of the story. Like we're going to dig into verses, we're going to dig into backgrounds, different DC DMV stories, and really just kind of sort of understanding the importance of everybody being a part of this movement, you know what I'm saying, and really understanding the assignment, so to say, as the saying goes, like really digging a little bit deeper beyond the surface, because that's what it's really about. Because we could easily spit 8 bars, we could spit 16 bars, we could spit 12 bars, but everything that we do as artists is driven by our stories, it's driven by our experiences, it's driven by the things that we've seen in our lifetime, it's driven by our spirits, it's driven by how God speaks to each and every last one of us in our own special way. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're going to be unveiling as the weeks to come, through the Return of Black Broadway Podcast. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be talking to people and just, like really just enjoying the fellowship of fellow DMV artists, because like you said, like we are a special group of artivists, because many of us, are not just artists, we're activists. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot
top
of us
the art.
I want to add into that just to tie in the other piece of how Black Broadway has been affected with Black excellence. A lot of us are also educators.
That's right. That's right.
Being one of them, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us have gone into arts education. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the strongest ways to make impact in the city of the community. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
From rec centers to the community centers to the different places where these types of initiatives are put together to help bring awareness to art culture and help bring awareness to how to educate everyone on how to tap into their gifts and how to position themselves, for business and enterprise around their gifts. And how to position themselves to have a voice to speak out against things that we think are unjust in ways that we can help fix and put in place infrastructures to right some of the wrongs of the past that have come against our efforts to exist.
That's right. And I'm glad that you mentioned, real quick, business, because that was another important aspect of Black Broadway. One of the people who was a major player or somebody who was constantly on U Street at that time of like the beginning of Black Broadway is Jesse H. Mitchell. And a lot of people may not know that name, but he's actually the founder of Industrial Bank. Anybody from the DMV knows about Industrial Bank. Is one of the many Black owned banks in this country. When they had a list of banks that when they were trying to get people kind of sort of to divest their funds and reinvest them into Black banks, Industrial Bank was on that list of banks. And that's a bank that started right here in this area, you know what I'm saying, by a Black man who spent plenty of time on U Street, on Black Broadway, So that's another aspect of the people that we'll be bringing on, people who are entrepreneurs, people who know money, who know who know business, because that's another important aspect of being an artist is the business aspect. You got to be smart with your money, number one, but it's also number two, being smart with your money as it pertains to helping out the community. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely. And also speaking to that, we're going to be doing some partnerships outside of just the podcast, and we'll share on the podcast at the appropriate time when these things are going forth. We're doing partnerships with a lot of different, a lot of our organizations who we are. Each of us have activist aspect and the arts education aspect to do workshops to help others who want to tap into this same sense of owning our own enterprise, our own excellence, our own business acumen, our own, art and community development, cultural background is a strong way for us to be able to push forward We have to recognize the strength of that as a unit and not just as an individual.
That's right. Absolutely. So I think we then covered a lot of ground, you know what I'm saying, gave people a glimpse of what's to come. And I think we got time to give them one more teaser before we roll up out this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I was just gonna say, we want to hit him with that muscle real quick.
Yeah, we can hit him with a little bit of that muscle crank real quick. You know what I mean, man? Let me tell y'all.
So check it out, good people. One time we gonna give y'all a quick snippet. Shout out to Uptown Shane and shout out to the homie Cash. You know what I'm saying, from out there by Kent Lane. You know what I'm saying, because we got folks from the city, and of course, as the expansion of the evolution of where we are now, we got folks from the whole DMV region, all around, jumping in the town. You dig? So, muscle crank, glory trapping. Snippet.
Yes, sir.
I'm playing chess, not checkers. Look at what life is measured. Keep it like couple of bands are better. Putting myself in position to get it. On this pivot, man, I know I'm a menace. Man, I focus, you just give me a minute. Steady pacing, man, I am not racing, yeah. What's the chasing, the pushing, I chase it. When I wake up, I get to the paper. When I get to the trap, and I did. Yeah, ain't no waiting, man, I ain't debating. And it's something to say, and I'm saying it. She got my hits in the playlist.
Will it back selector one time.
And that's all you get. That's it. No more. You gotta wait. You gotta wait. You know what I mean? But we had to tease you with that joint real quick before we roll up out this piece. You know what I mean? But we definitely appreciate everybody who tuned in live, and we definitely appreciate everybody who tunes in on the replay, because I mean, we always gotta shout out those who watch during the process, but those who watch afterwards, because everybody who supports is important, and we appreciate every last one of y'all out there. You know what I mean? So definitely make sure that
everybody for tuning in, man. It's been a glorious, wonderful time. It's our first kickoff for the Return of Black Broadway Podcast. Once again, your boy Re'Gideon Peoplez and the main man AJ Throwback in the building. We doing it one time.
Yes, sir.
We're going for more. Whole lot of heat coming. Whole lot of love coming.
Yes,
whole lot of people caring and connecting. And we about to blow the roof off of the town. You dig?
That's right. And as you see scrolling at the bottom of your screen, if you're not already subscribed to the Return of Black Broadway YouTube channel, make sure that y'all do that. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Make sure y'all hit that bell notification so whenever we go live, post a new video, premiere a new video, y'all will be among the first to know. And make sure that you follow us on Instagram. My man Re'Gideon Peoplez.
Yes, indeed. My IG handle is at Re'Gideon Peoplez. That's RENAAZPEOPLEZ. We got my man AJ Throwback.
That's right. I am at a.j.throwback on Instagram, and all of that information is, of course, scrolling at the bottom of your screen in case, you know what I'm saying, you need to see it in order to connect with
some
it.
People got to see the people very visual.
Right. And we also want, those who might be hearing impaired, you know what I mean? You might need the visual a little bit more.
Oh, so. Yeah, man. We are all inclusive. Everybody, lottie-dottie, everybody included. You did.
That's right. Absolutely. I think we might got two last comments before we roll up out of here. Let me see what we got. Hold on one second. If my comments will come back up. Let's see. My man Ramsey said, "Real Uptown Shane featuring Ty Babo and Goo Glizzy." I guess she got another song out.
Real quick, I gotta say, speaking of, man, Uptown Shane, if y'all didn't know, Uptown Shane is on fire right now. She been dope.
Yeah,
she's on
absolutely.
fire right now. Y'all ain't peeped that old DC video that her and Kendra, Katrina, and Gerard Street Garvey dropped?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Bananas.
Yes.
And then she's featured on that Muscle Crank joint we just gave y'all a snippet of. Y'all ain't even heard her verse come in yet. Oh my God. And we got the video coming for it too.
Mm-hmm.
Shane got music everywhere, all over the whole town. Videos, music, features with all kind of everybody.
Yeah.
Man, get what Uptown Shane, my sister, is dope.
Instantly, man. Yeah, she been dope. Like you said, she been dope, and I'm glad to see her like really having like a bit of a resurgence, because she was quiet for a while. You know what I'm saying? But like she been putting in work regardless. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like the work is that she been putting in all this time. Now it's starting to really like come to fruition. You know what I mean?
Remember when we said it probably like mid-show, we started talking about the spiritual aspect and the harvest coming? This is the time, hear me, everybody under the sound of my voice, this is the harvest time.
Yeah.
For all those who have sown seeds, this is the time of harvest. Don't squander it. Let's jump in there, come together, and we're going to all shovel up all the harvest together, put it in the bag. And listen, we're not orphans. We belong to a creator that gave us space. Everybody has space.
That's right. I
feel the need to say that right now.
Amen, brother.
We have space.
Yes.
We're not scrapping for the same little one piece. There's many. All we got to do is come to the table and eat.
That's right. Amen, brother. And I think that's a perfect way to close out episode 1 of the Return to Black Broadway podcast. You know what I mean? And we like to thank
Re'Gideon Peoplez A.J. Throwback in the building. One time.
Yes, sir.
So the Black Broadway.
Yeah. So next week, we don't know exactly which guest we gonna have, but we gonna have a guest next week. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. And we're gonna really break down some bars and get into some stories next week. We'll be letting y'all know who that will be next Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Return to Black Broadway YouTube channel. Definitely make sure that y'all stay tapped in, and we will see y'all next week. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, all that good stuff. Until next time, peace.